Hey guys, thanks for joining us. This is Dan and Tina from AZ Homemade, and we're here to show you how we made our square foot gardening water grid for our garden.
Yeah, so we saw this online and we thought, oh, that looks like a good idea. And we went to look at it and do a little more research, and it's found out that was about 80 bucks for the size we want. And it looks pretty simple. It just consists of some irrigation tubing and a few fittings. And we're like, oh yeah, well we can make that. And going on Amazon, we found all the parts we want to make it. And it turns out, yeah, we can buy the parts. If you kind of buy in quantity, you can get them for, you know, all these parts, including the big roll of tubing. Show them that roll, Tina. You know, it's a 100-foot roll, Rainbird, half-inch irrigation tubing. And get that, get a few fittings, and it'll be pretty easy to make. So this is the concept here, and it might be a little bit hard to see, but you know, you need a 90-degree fitting for each corner. You'll need a T fitting, then a cross fitting to make the internal part of the grid, and then that just kind of repeats. So what we're making here today is a total of 3 feet wide, and we're going to make it 4 feet long. Let's talk a little bit about the tools that you're going to need now. So you're going to have to measure out your lengths of tubing, and so we're going for a grid dimension of about a foot, right? So 1 foot by 1 foot, you know, square foot gardening. So you just have to figure out what size your tube needs to be cut at in order to make that happen. For us, the magic number to get us 3 feet across in the garden bed we have turns out to be 11¼ inches for each segment. So we just take our tubing, lay it out here, and then mark it.
Yeah.
So you'll need measuring tape.
Yeah, this is our marker of choice. We really like these Sharpie paint pens. We like white because of course our tubing is black, so this is what we like to use for ours.
Yep, that works out really good. Then you'll need some device to cut it. This is a rain drip brand cutter, and it's kind of a multi-tool for the irrigation work. And so it's a good way to cut it. I mean, you can cut this stuff with scissors or a good sharp knife if you wanted to do that. This tool, though, if you're taking this to the next step and punching holes in, this also provides for that and a bunch of other little things. You can use, like I said, scissors on this, but you're going to kind of wear out your wrist, because I don't know, how many tubes do we need to make? Like 40?
Yeah, like 42, yeah.
Yeah, so you got to make quite a few cuts in that.
And this is really pretty easy to use. It's got a good grip on it, and it just feels nice in your hand, a lot different than scissors.
Yeah, we've been using it, so it's kind of squeaky now. It needs a little WD-40 or something. All right, show me the next thing.
All right, so it's a finishing tool, right?
Yeah, so after we've assembled the grid, then we'll just use this drill, and you got to poke little holes in. There's probably some other ways to do it, whether with some kind of little punch or I don't know what. We just found this was the easiest thing, just to go ahead and use this to make the holes. It has a 1/16 inch drill bit in it, so your results may vary on what size drill bit you use. All right, and the last piece. So just a heat gun. You could use maybe a hot hair dryer as well on a high setting. And again, we're putting a lot of these pieces together, and you can just kind of muscle this all in and whatnot, but you're going to wear out your fingers and your wrist pretty quickly doing that. What this does is it heats up the tubing to where it's kind of nice and pliable, and then you just insert the fittings in and it saves your wrist. Also, I don't know if it shows up very well in this picture. See, there's a little bit of curvature in these tubes because it comes in that roll and it kind of gets a memory to it. And so good luck we've had is you just kind of put it all together and lay it out in the sun. Here in Arizona, it'll almost melt. And then it'll just kind of flatten out. But you can also use the heat gun hit the tubes a little bit with that, and they'll get pliable and go back into place. So I think that's it. So we can just show you now how we get going about building this. What we like to do is just measure out all of the tubing we're going to need first, and to do the 4x4 we're going to need 40 pieces of tubing. So we'll go ahead and mark those out, and then we'll cut them. It actually goes pretty quick once you kind of get your rhythm. I'm just helping hold the tube straight, as straight as we can. It comes in that coil, and so it tends to kind of hold a shape, and that'll come out of it. Once we're done putting it together, we'll lay it out in the sun, and that'll get the tubing kind of nice and soft, and it'll just kind of fall back into place. So we got those measured out, and we'll just go ahead and finish this step and get all 40 of the tube sections cut, and we'll check back in. Okay, so we're back. I just want to show you cutting a few more of the pieces of tube here. See, we've already got quite a pile done, and it goes pretty quick using this cutter. And like I say, you can see that there's a little bit of curl in there because the tube was packaged that way. But that should work its way out here when we get it warmed up. Okay, and that's that. We got 40 little pieces of tube, and it really didn't take hardly any time at all.
And how big is the grid that we're making?
The grid that we're making is 4 foot by 4 foot. Okay, so I have all the parts I need laid out. We need to have the 4 corners, 12 T's, and 9 crosses. And then, I hope it's not loud or obnoxious, but I got my heat gun going here on just kind of a very low setting. So it's useful to just warm up the tubing a little bit. It's not 100% necessary, but it just does help being able to just slide all that together. So now then we just kind of work our way around and push those all the way in, just like that. Then we follow by another straight piece and a T. And I'll just kind of alternate this curve, keeping these like that. And then this is just kind of for the purpose of this demonstration, but what I like to do is just go ahead and build the individual components and then wind up putting it all together kind of in one shot then. Oh, I need one more of these. And this is what I need here after we get a couple of these components built. So now then we're at 3 feet long. And I'm going to go ahead and put this 90 on to one end. And there you go. So that's a nice single 4 foot long segment. And we just repeat that process. Okay, so in addition to the first one that we built, now that I've built a second one that will be the opposite side. And now then we just have to fill in the field. So Tina, while I was doing that, Tina was working on this thing. She was calling them the spiders. And so then that is going to become the internal part of the grid. So we're going to make up a few more of those, and then we're going to be ready to put this together. Okay, so here's the rest of the internal part of the grid together, and to go ahead and connect up our sides. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do that, but wrestling this thing on the counter is a little bit difficult while trying to heat that. So it's basically just heat and stick the tubing on there. So just a second, we'll have this done. We got most of it all put together. You kind of see here, we just have this last bit to go. You kind of see how it's going together, and King is going to go ahead and heat these up.
It doesn't take much. You don't have to leave it on there very long. Just enough to get the tubing soft.
So there you have it. I'm going to give you as much view as I can here of it. But that's your 4-foot by 4-foot watering grid. So the next step is to go ahead and plumb in the connection to our low pressure line, and then we'll poke the holes in the tubing. Okay, so we went ahead and brought the garden grid in from the sun, and as you can see, everything flattened out really nice. Didn't take very long at all. So now then the next step is to drill the holes, and we're using a 1/16 drill bit and just in the cordless drill. You could probably use different things, I guess, different ways to make a hole, maybe a little punch or something like that, but this will be pretty easy to do. You can use any kind of little cordless drill, just a small drill bit as you have. Like I said, this is a 1/16. So just going around the outside here, and the outside portion of the grid only has one hole, as it only squirts one side of the tube. So we're just going around and making 3 holes per tube going around the grid, and then what we'll do is we'll transition then into the center sections of the grid, and for those you'll go all the way through. And in this case I have the mat underneath there, put that there mostly so I don't poke all the way through the tube and damage the floor. So but you just have to be a little bit careful. You can lift it up and push the drill bit through. Like I said, it goes through really quick. So we'll just kind of speed things up here, and then we'll be all done with that. It doesn't take hardly any time at all. Okay, so we went ahead and we put the grid in place, and as you can see, it flattened out nicely after being in the sun for a few minutes, and we got it hooked up to our irrigation system. And oh, there's Star, our garden cat, and we're going to go ahead and get it going. All right, so we'll go ahead and open them up. And as you can see, they're still turned from when I was drilling them. So now then all we have to do is go ahead and turn them 90 degrees. Okay, so we got everything turned and it's running, so you can see the spray pattern. There's a few of them that you can kind of adjust as you need to. So one of the things to be mindful of when you drill the holes, make sure you get a good clean hole the best you can. You see some of these are a little bit better than others. But it's working pretty good.
What size grid?
The 4x4 grid was $25 in parts, and probably took about an hour to build. After you do a couple, it goes pretty quick.